Hello, and welcome to another episode of the podcast, where we will reassure you that football is fixable. Alright. Hello, Ces. You alright?
Alright.
Yeah. Oh, Premier League's back.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, it's great to have it back. That international break, man.
It's a kind of a pointless one, isn't it? I think it's part of the Nations League, isn't it? But
Yeah,
we
but that's
really
just
don't care about it.
That's a glorified friendly, as someone said to me earlier today. One of our fans. It's just glorified friends. Don't watch it.
We actually have more than one now, don't we?
I think we do.
officially say.
Yeah, we do. So, yeah.
Thanks to our two fans.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, glad to have the Prem back, although we're recording this on Friday, and it's going to be, you're hearing this on Monday, and Arsenal might have lost the North London derby, so...
Hey, we can all hope, can't we? Yeah.
So shall we get on with the news, then? Yes,
I've got one.
All right, yeah.
So, you know Jamie O'Hara, you love him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, he's on TalkSport with Jason Cundy a lot, and they're both brilliant, aren't they? Yeah.
Chelsea and Tottenham.
Oh, wow.
Don't we love them?
Well, they're going to be on this show quite a lot because they mention a lot of good points. And one of the points they were talking about today was a combined Arsenal and Spurs 11.
That's quite an easy 11 to pick, really, isn't it?
Yeah, mostly Spurs players. I understand that. No, I would actually say right now, without me telling you what O'Hara chose, I would say maybe one, maybe two. I would say two players. I'd like to see Son on the left for Arsenal. I think that'd be good. And Udogie, I think he could make it into the
he certainly
left.
he had a good season last year, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, yeah, possibly.
So at most two,
yeah,
I would say. Now, do you know how many O'Hara put in there?
Oh, it's gonna be more than two, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, okay. I'm gonna hold my words. I'm gonna
hold your words.
I'm gonna not.
You hold those words.
I'm not gonna let them out.
Okay. Well, he chose more Spurs players than Arsenal.
Oh, Jesus.
Not only that, 3 of the 4 defenders he chose as Spurs players.
What?
Even after Cundy pointed out that Arsenal had the best defence last year, he said, I don't care.
I was just about to point that out. We had the best defence last year.
Yep. He chose 6 Spurs players and 5 Arsenal players.
He is special, isn't he?
He really is.
Can I say that? He is brilliant, isn't he?
Well, the thing is, I mean, I can understand that they were talking about certain players that can't play, that if they're ineligible, they won't necessarily pick them. So Ødegaard and Rice, for example.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But they were still talking about whether to choose Bissouma or Partey. And he went, Bissouma's much better.
Is he?
Yeah. And
right.
Yeah, it was horrendous.
It's painful.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it has been in the news as well. Going on to other Premier League teams, we've got Man United. Have you heard all the stuff like Ronaldo's been dishing out?
Oh, yeah. He's caused a lot of waves that I don't really understand why they're waves.
I think it's just because his name's Ronaldo. So he said, hello. And then it's like, let's write headlines about that.
Yes, it really is, because it's just
nothing,
basically he says something and people take offence to it. And why are you taking offence to his opinion?
I saw there was
quite true as well.
Yeah, and it was something about Ten Hag reacted and it just became a storm in a teapot. Was that the phrase? What's the phrase?
Storm in a teapot.
Something like that.
Yeah, why not?
That's a phrase, isn't it? Something like that.
You're really using your own terminology now.
Yeah, I'm feeling creative today.
I'll hold my words.
I'll bite my tongue. That one. There we go.
And all of this came about purely, really, because Ten Hag's Man United lost 3-0 to Liverpool.
Oh yeah, it feels like a long 2 weeks for that international break.
It really does, doesn't it? Yeah. But it's all because of that it just became this huge thing. I know they lost to Brighton as well, but it's the 3-0 loss to their biggest rival was the huge upset, wasn't it?
So everything's much worse, isn't it?
Yeah, with Arne Slot being such a new manager as well in the Premier League.
Yeah, they've done well to start. What's your first impression of Arne anyway?
Probably Kraft.
That's not bad. But no, I mean, Arne Slot, the Liverpool manager.
Oh, it'll probably be, yes, we played a great game, yes.
No. What's your first impression of how he's been as a
manager,
coach at Liverpool? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think he's done pretty well, to be honest.
It's only a few games in, but he's looked really he's settled in really well, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he was given a good team, like a club overall. He was in a healthy position. It wasn't like United did show certain frailties when Fergie left.
No doubt, yeah.
So that's understandable. But even with that, they don't seem to have shown any downturn, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it is early days, but it'd be interesting to see for this season, wouldn't it? I quite like the way Arnie Slot, that is.
Oh, right.
Arnie Slot kind of presents himself, like in his press conferences and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, we'll see where that goes. But
Yeah.
just one other little thing on Ronaldo quickly. Have you heard that he's launched his own YouTube channel?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's where I saw all the Ronaldo comments.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Apparently he's got 60 million subscribers or
Yeah.
something or other.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's like massive. It's almost as many as us on YouTube.
I know, right? Yeah. He's following us, clearly, because we came first with our podcast and YouTube channel, and then all of a sudden...
Is that we're trendsetters? What can we say?
You're welcome, Cristiano Ronaldo.
And if you need any tips, just let us know. Sticking with United, though.
Yeah.
So, we have to do our job. It's not just a 1 day a week thing. Obviously, this podcast comes out.
This is 7 days a week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're keeping an eye out all over.
24/7. 24 minutes, 7 days a week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all over the socials and stuff like that. So something happened during the week. It was on. It just came up on my stream on one of our social pages.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to correct it, basically. So there is this Man City group of some kind, but it just came up on the thing where they're saying, "Oh, money doesn't buy you everything. Money can't buy you trophies and stuff like that." And it was the sunglasses emoji, all kind of smug.
Oh yeah.
And then it had a picture of a kind of comparison between City and United. So it had Man City with a net spend of £688 million against Man United's £890 million. But this is dating back to a very precise moment, which is going back to 2016-17.
Ah, okay.
And it's got 17 trophies for City, 4 trophies for United. So, wow, yeah, what a difference. I had to post, though, because this is our job, right?
Yeah.
I put the little emoji of, like, the eye-rolling emoji with just the picture from a bit of research I did. Took about 10 seconds. Football Transfer's website. Man City have spent €2.5987 billion. It's pretty much £2.5987 billion since 2008.
Yeah. They conveniently missed that out, didn't they?
Yeah, I was, hello, you have spent a lot of money to get those trophies, just so
also, with what they're saying, money doesn't buy you trophies, both those teams do have trophies.
Yeah.
So money does buy you trophies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good point.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if United only have 4 trophies. They've got 4 more trophies than a lot of teams that don't spend as much money.
Oh, yeah. There's one team in particular that doesn't tend to win many trophies.
Everton?
Everton as well. Yeah, there's a few teams in particular. I was going to mention Tottenham, which I might be getting a bit of stick if Arsenal don't win over the weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
We're recording before the weekend. Who knows? Come on, Arsenal. Anyway, moving on to a big week with Man City in mind, actually. It's City. So today, at the time this podcast is coming out on the Monday, it's when the hearing starts.
The what?
The hearing.
Ah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I'm a little bit outraged about this because it sounds like the worst punishment, should they be found guilty, would be relegation. A big points reduction that'll either end up relegation or they'll just be outright relegated. And a lot of people are saying, that's brilliant, they deserve to be relegated. The problem I have with this, I'll give you an analogy. Imagine a 100-meter runner and they break the world record, win gold medals in the World Championships, in the Olympics, etc. But then it's found out they've been taking steroids. And so they get banned. But then they say, you are banned for the next race, but you're allowed to come back to the race after in a month's time. The steroids would still be in their system, so they're still benefiting from the previous steroids. You have to ban them for a length of time, which would mean that the steroids would no longer be benefiting them and they would be back to level playing field. With City, what people are thinking is that they're allowed to spend loads of money right now, which will benefit them right now. No, that's not what made City so great. What made City so great with the money they spent between 2008 and 16 was the infrastructure. They have some of the best training grounds, the academy. They got a new stadium.
Exactly.
They were able to bring in these players like Robinho and stuff they never would have been able to afford. And those are the grounds that have been laid. So now City don't have to spend any money right now, and they would still have one of the best, if not the best squads in the world.
Exactly. It's the key ingredients. The foundation's already there.
Yeah. In which case, if they get relegated, they could probably convince pretty much everyone to stay in that team aside from maybe a few of the older guys like De Bruyne or Walker might want to go make money in Saudi or whatever, but they could convince people like Rodri and Haaland and stuff, look, stick with us. You're still going to get paid loads of money. You're going to break records in the championship. Haaland, you'll score 60 goals. It'll be a bit of a laugh. We'll come straight back up and everything will be back to normal again. In which case, what was the point? Because all they would have done is lost a bit of money, which we know it doesn't matter with City if they lose money.
Yeah.
What it should be is that the infrastructure gets affected so that, like with the runner analogy with the steroids, it comes out of their system. So if you relegate them, then relegate them down to League 2. So it takes them 3 years to get back up. In which case, the players like Haaland, Rodri, Bernardo, they won't want to stick around. They'll all leave.
Yeah.
And so if City does, in 3 years' time, manage to get back into the Premier League, they won't have the same infrastructure and they will have to build... it's not like you can take the stadium and stuff away.
No, they won't be at ground zero, but they'll still have to build.
It'll almost be a level playing field then. And then there'll be things like the PSR rules. They're not able to spend ridiculous amounts and they'll realise that they have to evidence things now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the problem, isn't it? Because it's financial doping, people have referred to it as, isn't it? It's very similar. So I like that analogy. And the idea that it kind of, you want other teams to be able to catch up with, if City are found guilty, which, yeah, they're definitely not guilty in any way.
No, not at all. Just don't look here, is what they said.
Look over there.
Yeah.
So, you want the other teams to be able to... They should have the right to catch up if City are found guilty. So that exactly... I mean, Rangers got relegated for... I know it was different reasons, and they came back. You think, okay, well, we're not saying you have to close as a club and you can't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But you have to now go in... It has to level the playing field, like we were saying.
So. Yeah. Just being relegated to one division doesn't make a difference, I think.
I agree. Yeah, fair point. Should we get into the main episode then?
Let's do it.
So today, I want to talk about pundits and analysis.
Yes. And for the first time this season, this is the big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're actually getting to fixing a key part of football. We have to watch this every time we watch a live match on TV, when it comes to the pundits at half-time or full-time, or even before the game sometimes. Yeah. And then we get this big word analysis comes up. Sometimes it's written on the desk.
Yeah.
And you have to sort of sit there and just listen to a few people talking. And it's...
Well,
it's not analysis. I'm a teacher. This is not analysis. I have to mark papers, right? And you can probably edit all this out.
No, I was about to say, you're not really analysing, are you? You're just stating...
You need to give me time. Yes. All right, this is what my students do. They waffle at the start. But
okay.
I need to say this to put my anger across.
Oh, okay, fair
And then
enough.
I'm going to start my job and fix it.
Well, this is our bread and butter, isn't it? This is what we like having guests on. We like talking about the individual teams, but really fixing certain elements of the game. That's what we're good at.
This needs to be fixed. And that's it. And that's what we're doing today. So we're fixing analysis. So what do you think analysis actually means, Ces?
Ooh. Well, I don't know the dictionary definition.
That's not good enough.
Oh, well, in which case, let's end the episode then. No, for me, I think it's evolved quite a lot since we started watching Match of the Day when we were kids. Back then, with Hansen, Lawrenson, there could be a lot of statements made. That
definitely.
was really good, that was really poor.
Terrible defender.
Yeah, Hansen was
famously
famous for it. Yeah. Whereas now it's evolved to the point where we have. I feel as though we need to be told or shown things that we wouldn't know as regular non-professionals.
Yes.
Because Paul Scholes is a brilliant example. He's someone that, as a kid, I didn't quite understand why he was so highly regarded. And then in my teen years, I started to understand that everything he was doing, he was kind of... The game would go to his tempo. But still, I didn't quite understand how he was doing it, what specifics there were. And it was only until, we were playing in Sunday League and we have more of an understanding of the game. That's when I realised just how incredible what he did was.
And how he does. I still don't really know how he did it.
Yeah.
So you can look at a few things he does in specific situations, how he could just turn and then he's suddenly in loads of space. And in a very fast-paced game. You think how fast-paced Sunday League seemed to us.
Yeah, exactly.
He's doing that in Premier League football.
Yeah, and it's so good that even he doesn't know how it's done. He would just say, "Well, you just do a 70-yard crossfield pass. What's the problem?" To a player that you can't see. Well,
why can't you just do that?
Yeah, same as Pirlo. If you say,
brilliant.
If you're a god and you're creating humans, and you go, "I'm creating this guy who's like quite short, not really that strong, pretty slow, not that flexible."
It is amazing, actually, isn't it?
And yeah, he's going to be one of the best midfielders you'll see.
Yeah, incredible player.
Yeah. So I would say analysis nowadays, back 20, 30 years ago, they would have kind of just gone, "Oh, they're amazing, aren't they?" Whereas now we need to understand why they're amazing. And
we're a more sophisticated audience now, and that's the thing. You can now subscribe to various magazines and journalists, and you actually analyse tactics of games. I think the audience now wants more from football.
Yeah.
Rather than just to watch it and enjoy it, you want to understand
because, as John said a couple of weeks ago, football is so dull. There's only a few exciting moments in a game. His words, not mine. So, yeah, now in analysis, we need some sort of enjoyment from football, don't we?
Yes. So analysis, the actual meaning of analysis. So I've got some definitions for you, Ces.
Oh, brilliant. You know I love a definition.
Let's really turn the heat up. So a detailed examination of the elements or structure of something, for example. So a detailed examination. The separating of any material or abstract entity into constituent elements. So basically what I'm trying to say...
This is exciting stuff.
You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is it's not general statements, which is what I've given a load of examples there for, you're sort of saying, that he did really well there. That's not breaking it down into those constituent parts, for example.
So do you have any examples of what good analysis looks like?
Yeah, so for example, let's find this part of Shay Given, for example. I know he... people might sort of think he's not one of the main pundits. Mm-hmm. Like when you get him on Match of the Day, he's on there like once every month or two or something. But there's times when he sort of breaks things down. It's when you get the tactics board up and you see instead of just talking over it, like I was talking with Cara and Sturridge there, what he did, for example, is he says what they're trying to achieve. So there's a situation here, for example, Man City v Fulham last season. And what you can see, basically, Shay Given gave an example of how Man City were able to design a situation where Bernardo gets space on the edge of the box and is able to then cross it in, create an opportunity, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's really clever. So he breaks it down. He shows Man City had a 2v1 on Fulham. So it then drew, in this case, it was a Wobie over. He talked about how that happened. Bernardo's actually looking the other way, pretending not to be interested. It's really subtle. He's picking up on these things.
It's the things that we don't see.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Exactly.
We wouldn't have seen it had we watched the game live. Maybe we would have noticed it, but usually it's the stuff that we don't see, and they point out.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what they're paid for. And this is the sort of things, those little details, those constituent parts, if you like. So yeah, that's the kind of. I'm not saying it should all be analysis because we'd all be bored to death probably.
Yeah.
If hopefully we've still got some listeners left, but. That's what, when we get the tactics boards up, and that's what we want to see, like specific things, not he did well there. That doesn't really tell us much, does it?
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
agree with that.
So, right. Rant over. Analysis then. So it's different to a description or... Right, I'm going to get teachery. So
always.
If you say, for example, that's terrible defending. Thank you, Alan. Then that's a statement. Once, to be fair, Alan Hansen did bring out... He was one of the only ones, really, that gave us real examples as well.
Mm-hmm.
But... That is a statement. It's not analysis, okay?
Yeah.
So analysis is actually explaining with examples. You need to apply it. So that's application.
Yeah.
You need to apply examples of what was the impact of a certain action. So it might say, this led to this. This is good because of this. And you actually analyse what was so good about it, the impact of it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right? So it's not just explaining or describing what happened. A couple of weeks ago, when Liverpool and United had that epic clash that was very close indeed.
Yeah,
and
they
not
just
one
scraped it 3-0.
Yeah, exactly, not one-sided at all. Sturridge said a few statements as we were. Well, it could be analysis. You decide.
Was that your Geordie accent?
Yeah,
because it sounded very Alan Hansen.
Was that Alan Hansen as well?
Yeah,
I thought it was Alan Shearer as well. I was trying to do.
Oh, okay.
So the cross is magnificent. So that was a cross from Salah to the back post where Liverpool scored.
Mm-hmm.
That's a statement. Decisive with the header. That's a statement. This is all kind of linked together. This was like all one sentence he was putting together, really. In the end, it was too open.
And this old Asian proverb. Yes.
There you go. Oh, maybe it's there's deeper meaning to it.
I think so. Yeah,
maybe that's it. How much
let
is
the
Sturridge,
water flow.
How much is Sturridge getting paid for this? I mean, if it is Chinese proverbs, then fair play.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Sky call it analysis with a whoosh analysis and all that. And then you know what? Cara, Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, they come down from the gantry and they join in with the lads, Roy Keane and Sturridge and all that, the panel. So sorry, Sturridge, it's not just you. Cara does it as well. So Cara comes down and then as they're playing the replays again on the TV, so the audience on, if you're watching Sky, can see the replay of the goals. And Cara then provides his type of analysis, but again, you can decide if it is. So he says, actually, Diaz does really well there. Why? Why does he do well there? Explain what's he done. He ducks or something. It's like, has he done really well there? Then he says, it's brilliant from Mo Salah. What's brilliant about it? If that was his left foot, we'd all be saying how great it was. But that was on his right foot. I mean,
that is an Asian proverb.
Now that's analysis you can't buy. That's brilliant. And then I'll carry on.
Oh yeah.
So Bosley does well, and Diaz does even better to make sure he finds the back of the net. This is just all one ongoing. I've written bits down because I'm sad like that. But
you are.
This is not. We're here to fix football. I don't care being called sad. I need to fix football. This is a beautiful game, and these guys are getting paid for this rubbish.
Yeah, that's true. It's a unique sport. We need to exactly. We need to fix this.
It should just be called chat. Whoosh. Football chat. So I'm not having it. So we're calling it up.
That is true. I do agree with you that there is a point. It is Sky's fault for calling it analysis. However, to a certain point, I kind of defend them in the sense that to do a proper analysis, you need more time than just the kind of chats that they used to have in Match of the Day and stuff like that 20, 30 years ago. You need a bit more time. Even Match of the Day nowadays, they have pretty much 6 hours or something before the live show, and they have the replays and they know exactly what to say when, and they've rehearsed it. So to have a properly good analysis, you do need more of a preparation than a chat. So to a certain point, when Carragher and Neville joined them, for example, it'll be difficult. It would have been more surprising, I suppose, to expect them to come down and give a proper analysis.
Yeah.
However, like you say, it's Sky's fault for kind of branding it as analysis when it's clearly not.
These are the mainstream elite pundits we watch in this country, and it's not just Sky. You see it on BT or TNT as it's called now. You see it. Match of the Day is generally better, but like you say, they have more hours to do it. But even then, some of the pundits on there, it's labelled analysis, but it's kind of...
It's what we used to say with Micah Richards when he first started. He just basically repeated what the last person said. He's like, I agree with that guy.
And he'll do it with a smile and a laugh. Yeah. And he's got a great character to him.
Yeah.
And you said in our previous season, actually, when we looked at pundits and commentators, one of the features is charisma and is that enthusiasm. Yeah. But that also needs to be backed up with the kind of substance as well.
Yeah. And that's what Micah had to work on as well. He became pretty good at analysis. If he focuses on it and if he's got time to prepare, then he can analyse, especially the defence where he used to play. He's still not one of the best, but there is definitely a big difference now between analysis and just pointing out the obvious.
Yeah, just because you put a circle on a fancy smart screen around a player doesn't make it analysis. If you put arrows on it or you can highlight a player, what you want to do, sometimes they put that trace, I don't know sometimes why they look at where he's run from, and then they put that sort of footprint kind of trail breadcrumb thing, so you watch them run. He's run 70 yards there. Well done. This is a elite athlete we're talking about, but brilliant.
They often do that. I've said this before as well, when they say he's done really well, he ran 12 kilometres.
Is that good? Is that good? Yeah.
Maybe the defender ran 30 kilometres. Yeah. How do we know?
How do we... Yeah.
If they say this is the average for the midfielders, fair enough. There's no context.
Interesting.
It's like the weather forecast I mentioned before,
isn't
it?
I don't know again.
Humidity. What is 50% humidity?
What's 100% humidity?
Yeah.
Are we swimming?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm okay with Sky if they call it description. or something like
Yeah.
that, followed by chat,
Yeah.
or something. But
Bias chat.
or yeah, that's the other thing, because they have their biases and stuff, and that's fun to watch. Don't get me wrong, but these are meant to be our elite pundits and analysts and stuff, but we're not really learning anything specific. I can tell if it's a nice goal. Oh, great goal! He's done well there. Yeah, I can see that. But what made it that he was able to do that?
Yeah.
Was it the turn? Was it the technique? Was it the
There's
touch?
a time and a place as well. You've got certain channels like CBS, for example. They've got that humongous board, and they've got Henri, Carragher, and Micah. They're able to analyse things well.
Yeah.
That's a good time and a place for that. But then when they have their chats, they're on that long table, and they have a chat together.
Yeah.
There's separate times for a chat and an analysis. But for Sky to call it analysis, and they just sit around just chatting about the basics.
And a lot of it's clickbait, they just get something like an outrageous statement said or something like that. And I understand there's a bit of a game they want to play. Obviously, they're a media producer, a broadcaster. They want to get the clicks and the likes and that kind of stuff. But it would be nice to get a bit more analysis, lads.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's another thing that would just be fixed if they hired us. It's as simple as that. So many of our fixes, I've noticed, basically, we could just end it with, and if you hire us, then it's all better.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Dates back to a lot of our bread and butter fixes, as you put them.
Exactly. Which, of course, you can listen to in season 1 of Football is Fixable.
Nice. I like the plug.
Thanks very much.
So having Daniel Sturridge, he's a recently retired footballer. He's going to have also, he's down with the kids. He's roughly...
Down with the kids.
Is he our age? I don't know. I know I'm going to sound old now, but...
That's a good point, actually. He's probably younger than us.
But he has recently retired, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And, he's also got the style who comes on with all these great fashion and things. That's fine. All these great fashions. I know
when he does the fashion.
The fashion, exactly. I know, it's all wonderful, and I'm sure it appeals to people. But, I want to learn stuff. I don't just want to see that was great. And Kara's the same. And like you say, maybe when those guys when those guys come down from the gantry, they can just portray it. They can move to another part of the studio or something like that. I don't know. And just call it chat, whatever it is. But these guys are paid a lot of money, and I want to know exactly what it is that they're there for that I can't figure out myself.
Yeah, exactly, because I don't really want to hear opinions anymore. You remember when Scholes became a pundit, and we heard his opinions, and we realised at that point, genius on the pitch doesn't necessarily equate to good pundit.
And that's the thing. You wonder what they say sometimes great players don't make great managers. And I wonder if they struggle to put their ideas across, because
it must be.
It was like a natural talent in a way.
For Scholes, it was the word quality, wasn't it? Well, he doesn't have enough quality. There wasn't enough quality in the game.
Why?
Yeah.
Why
what is the quality you're talking about? Oh, it's just not enough quality. Because in his mind, it's obvious. Well, it doesn't matter that you can't see the guy. I'm sure he's there, so I'll just do absolutely inch perfect pass over there. That for him, that's obvious.
It's like that Ronaldo R9, your favourite player, by the way. By the way, did you know?
Is it? Oh, right. Okay.
Did you know? So this guy is your favourite player, right? So when he was coaching over in Brazil, and this forward was going through on goal, one-on-one with the keeper, and he hit it straight at the keeper. Afterwards, Ronaldo talks to this player to try and, when you're through on goal, then defence not going to catch you. All you need to do is shimmy one way, go the other, and it's an easy goal. And the response was, it's easy for you. You're Ronaldo. It's just like, so these are geniuses, it's fine, okay, but this is maybe an unpopular opinion. This is why Sky or TNT or whatever won't do it. But Pat Nevin, he's a brilliant pundit, brilliant analysis provider. Analyst. He's an analyst.
Yes.
You hear him on the radio. He does some of the live radio games and stuff on BBC and stuff. And he used to be on Match of the Day 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But he's not really, as I say, down with the kids. He
gets given like a 3-4 minute segment every now and again, doesn't he? Where it's like in the back room with all the monitors.
They just keep him off in the cupboard and he comes out. But it's some brilliant stuff he comes out with. And he's Scottish. That was one of the criteria I added.
That's true.
It always makes a great pundit.
Yeah.
So he's Scottish, he's really clever, and I think people could grow to like him on there as well. Not to say they don't, but I think Pat Nevin and, we just need some pundits which are actually going to teach us.
Well, there's a time and a place, isn't there? Because what Sky's good at, the reason why they normally have 5-6 pundits sat around in a semicircle is
quite
because
awkwardly.
it creates these heated debates. They usually with you had ones with Keane, Souness, Carragher,
I think Redknapp,
Neville,
they had a bit of a clash, didn't they?
Yeah, they want to invite these people with very strong opinions to clash against each other. Whereas if you have an analysis, usually you get time to yourself because it's all prepared. And so unless you are the Neville and Carragher on Monday Night Football, they do good analysis there. But they're able to talk to each other because they basically analyse together at the same time to create a little bit of a heated debate, but they can analyse at the same time.
Imagine that. I know I mean, Neville was recently, he was walking to the first Monday Night Football of this season, and he was recording a kind of short on his phone. It went on to social media and stuff. And he was saying it's the most enjoyment. It's very difficult Monday Night Football because it's all live and the pressure's really high. But the buzz there's nothing like it, he says. That's what we should be watching. Monday Night Football's kind of formula should be what we have on, at halftime in games on Sky and TNT and BBC whenever they do it. That's what we want. We want the analysis with the potential for the debates and stuff like that. Yeah. That's what it should be.
It should be, yeah. And I think you can clearly see on Monday Night Football, those kind of analysis-based shows, you can clearly see which pundits are analysts and which ones are basically there for their personality or maybe they're just their name. Because Roy Keane, I like him as a pundit. He's not really a good analyst at all. No. And on Monday Night Football, he's been on there quite often. He's quite easily exposed as someone who doesn't do analysis. Yeah. So the opposite person, I think usually it's Carragher opposite him. He normally does the analysis, uses the screen, and then Keane is there kind of to give his opinions.
Yeah, just sort of overall opinions or input on what they. How does he agree with Carragher or whatever, or something from his? They often compare it to in their day, don't they? They sort of bring that into it or something.
But all right then, who do you think are the best analysts at the moment then?
As well, like I say, Pat Nevin, he'll be in there. I mean, Carragher and Neville actually do provide that analysis, like you mentioned.
I think they're very good.
So some of what they do, I don't always agree with their opinions afterwards. Yeah. But some of the things they point out, I learn from, and that's the thing. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing. It's like, I didn't spot that part of the game, or that, I didn't see that. Once they have, because they use the technology to their aid as well, obviously. Yeah. But you often get to see things from a different perspective. So that's, I think, really good. Shearer's got better, to be fair. Do you remember?
Much better. Yeah.
Do you remember in the early years? I thought, he was just there. He recently retired, his all-time Premier League goal scorer and all that. But now I learn a lot from his analysis as well.
Yeah, I think it's very good. And I think it's good that they normally split it from Shearer and then a defender so that they can focus on attack and defence individually. Because I'm sure Shearer can analyse the defence a lot better than I ever could. However, it's nice to be able to hear his experience as well as the analysis of what's going on.
And that's what adds to a great pundit as well. Exactly. And another one, Shay Given on Match of the Day. I think he provides a really good goalkeeping kind of you're thinking about from that experience. But some of his analysis I've enjoyed as well. I sound really sad, don't I? But this is it.
You always do.
When I'm marking students' essays and stuff like that for A-level and things, when I see all these statements, I can't give them marks. It's so frustrating. So this has been boiling up. I've had to...
Do you know one guy who I think is a brilliant analyst? Oh, right. And it's a shame that we don't get to hear his analysis, really, even though we see him week in, week out.
Oh, right.
Gary Lineker.
That's true.
Yeah, Micah brings it out in him. That's the best feature of Micah, I think, is that he's able to bring out the best of Roy Keane, Shearer, and Lineker.
He breaks the rules a bit because he asked Lineker's the host, so he actually asked Lineker, but he did it in the
Restless Football as well as in the Euros.
In the Euros, yeah.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, Lineker just kind of lit up, and his 2-minute analysis.
It was about strikers, wasn't it? About how you go one way, you move one side, and it creates space.
And that went viral because all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
That was one of the best bits. That 2 minutes was one of the best bits of the whole part of their analysis bit. Yeah, Frank Lampard did a really good one as well during the Euros. Just pointing
Everton legend.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, legend is a little bit.
If you were feeling sad over the last few weeks and you're thinking about changing your fantasy football team, that's not me, by the way.
No, you're doing very well at the bottom of the table, aren't you?
Then you might want to hear an expert. I think it's time for John's fantasy football tips. Juicy.
Whose tips are those?
John's juicy tips.
All right. Give your team more zest than all of the rest. Welcome to John's Juicy Tips. This week I got some super differentials to get your team climbing up the league table. My first tip in defence is Alex Moreno for Nottingham Forest. Forest have only let in 2 goals so far this season, and Moreno as he's shown for Villa in the past, is a very attacking fullback. This gives him potential for attacking and defensive returns. Plus, he's less than 1% owned, so go for him. In midfield, it's Jared Bowen for West Ham. Jared Bowen, surprisingly, is only 6% owned, and he's had attacking returns in his last 3 appearances. Plus, it could be a good long-term pick, as West Ham don't play any of last year's top 4 until the end of November. And finally, up front, it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Everton. Everton might be going through a tricky period at the moment, but they are scoring goals. Plus, they're playing all 3 promoted sides in the next 6 game weeks. He's only 2% owned. He's already got a couple of goals. So give Big Dom a chance. Juicy.
Well, was that another day saved then? Or we fixed analysis?
I think so. We've analysed analysis. And we've analysed that it's not analysis.
Do you know, technically it should be evaluation as well. So really, evaluation is where they consider 2 sides and then they make a judgment. But they call it analysis, so that's another episode.
And on that bombshell.
Sorry, folks. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode, and sorry for ranting. Please do like, share, and follow. We're on all the socials. It really makes a massive difference to us. We've had another few follows this week, which is excellent.
We have.
And it's goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.